what do we always talk about? And I'm glad you brought up the 97-98 season because it reminded me of something I'm going to share with you guys. That a conversation that I had with Darren McCarty years ago. But the thing is that in 97-98, the first year that they won the cup in many years, uh, early on, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe longer, I was having a conversation with Darren McCarty, and I said, because again, people who are regulars on this podcast know that Darren and I are good friends. And I said, Darren, I said, let me ask you a question. I said, if you wouldn't have had Steve Yzerman, do you think if he would have gotten hurt, and this is why it's appropriate because it's how ironic, but I said, if he would have gotten hurt and you would have lost Steve Yzerman, do you think you would have been able to win the Stanley Cup? Do you think you guys would have been able to win without Steve Yzerman? And he thought about it and he said, yeah, I do. And he went on to say it was because every guy on that team knew his job. They knew the role they were supposed to fill. And everybody, there was a synergy and a consistency there. He didn't use those words, but that's what he was saying to me. And that is what we're seeing with this team today. Okay. So that's why they did well even without Dylan Larkin. That's why I think even worst case scenario, Dylan Larkin is out. They still have the capacity, certainly, to make the playoffs. And so, and I think you could basically say any one of the guys on that team, we could lose and still be able to pull off enough victories to get into the playoffs and possibly even a deep run into the playoffs.